7387 words are just words unless I say otherwise, so shut up and listen. So, I worked at a small, family-owned hardware store. The owner, let's call him Mr. Harrison, was particular. He had these weird, arbitrary rules, and he'd change them on a whim. He also had a pathological need to be right, even when he was demonstrably wrong. One day, a customer came in looking for a specific type of screw. It was a left-handed, reverse-threaded screw, used in some obscure piece of machinery. We didn't have it. I told the customer we could probably order it, but it might take a few days. Mr. Harrison overheard. "Don't order anything," he barked. "We don't need to be ordering special screws. We have plenty of screws. Just sell him something else." I explained to Mr. Harrison, as calmly as I could, that the customer needed a very specific type of screw, and a regular screw wouldn't work. He just waved his hand dismissively. "Nonsense. A screw is a screw. Just sell him a box of our standard wood screws. He won't know the difference." I knew arguing was pointless. He was already digging in his heels. So, I sighed and turned to the customer. "Sir," I said, "Mr. Harrison has instructed me to sell you a box of our standard wood screws." I grabbed a box off the shelf. "He assures me they will work perfectly for your needs." The customer looked bewildered. "But, these aren't reverse-threaded." "I understand, sir," I replied, maintaining a perfectly neutral expression. "However, Mr. Harrison insists these are suitable." Mr. Harrison, puffed up with pride, chimed in. "That's right. Best screws in the county. You won't find a better deal anywhere." The customer, after giving us both a very confused look, shrugged and bought the screws. I rang him up, making sure to emphasize the total loudly enough for Mr. Harrison to hear. The next day, the customer was back. He was not happy. He marched straight to Mr. Harrison, box of useless screws in hand. These screws didn't work. They were the wrong thread. They stripped their hole. They ruined my machine. Mr. Harrison, initially defiant, quickly wilted under the customer's furious glare. He mumbled something about a refund and scurried to the back room. Later that day, Mr. Harrison called me into his office. He was red-faced and sputtering. "Why did you sell him those screws?" he demanded. "Because you told me to, sir," I replied, my voice perfectly even. "You specifically instructed me to sell him a box of standard wood screws and assure him they would work." He glared at me. "Well, you should have known better." "Sir," I said, "I did know better. I told you they wouldn't work. But you insisted. You said, and I quote, 'A screw is a screw. Just sell him a box of our standard wood screws. He won't know the difference.'" He sputtered again, unable to form a coherent argument. Finally, he just pointed a trembling finger at me. "From now on," he said, his voice tight with barely suppressed rage, "you are not allowed to offer any advice to customers. If they ask for something, you just sell it to them. Understand? No more knowing better. Just sell." "Got it." "Got it," I said, a small smile playing on my lips. The next day, a woman came in looking for rat poison. We had several different kinds, from the relatively harmless bait traps to the serious stuff that could take down a whole colony. She looked flustered and upset. I have a real problem," she said, her voice trembling. "My daughter's hamster, it got loose. And I think it might have gotten into the walls. I need something to get rid of it." I knew, immediately, that she was not thinking clearly. She was upset and panicked, and she was about to make a terrible mistake. The humane thing to do would have been to gently suggest trapping the hamster instead, or calling animal control. But Mr. Harrison's instructions were clear. "Certainly," I said, my face carefully blank. "We have a variety of rat poisons available." I led her to the aisle and pointed to the strongest, most lethal option we had. "This one is very effective. It will take care of your problem quickly." She looked at the poison, her eyes wide with fear and desperation. Are you sure this is safe? I'm not allowed to offer advice, I said, my voice perfectly neutral. I can only sell you what you ask for. This is rat poison. It is very effective at killing rodents. She hesitated for another moment, then grabbed the poison and paid for it. I bagged it up, handed it to her, and watched her walk out of the store. I felt terrible. But I had followed Mr. Harrison's instructions to the letter. I had not offered any advice. I had simply sold her what she asked for. Later that afternoon, Mr. Harrison called me into his office again. He was even more red-faced than before. "Did you sell a woman rat poison today?" he demanded. "Yes, sir," I replied. "Do you know why she wanted it?" "She said her daughter's hamster got loose," I said, carefully omitting any further details. Mr. Harrison's face turned an alarming shade of purple. "And you sold her rat poison? Are you insane?" "You told me not to offer advice, sir," I said, my voice perfectly calm. "You said to just sell them what they ask for. She asked for rat poison. I sold her rat poison." He slammed his fist on the desk. "That's not what I meant. You're supposed to use your common sense." "But sir," I said, "you specifically forbade me from using my common sense. You said I was not allowed to know better. I was simply following your instructions." He stared at me, his mouth working soundlessly. He knew he was trapped. He had created this situation himself. Finally, he let out a long, defeated sigh. Just go back to work," he mumbled. From that day on, Mr. Harrison never gave me ridiculous instructions again. He had learned his lesson. Words are just words, unless I say otherwise. And sometimes, the most effective way to deal with a ridiculous order is to follow it exactly.